Greetings, brothers and sisters. This is Dr. Abdullah. If you like what you're seeing, you like what you're hearing, please subscribe, comment, like, and share. If you like educational news from a foundational Black American man's perspective, come on over to All Things Education Official on YouTube and Rumble. Today, we're going to talk about, will Tennessee teachers be allowed to carry firearms? Let's find out. Roll that first clip.
There's a bill that would allow teachers to carry guns in schools, and it's headed to the Tennessee State House. Not everyone approves.
Parents packed the gallery at the Tennessee Capitol in Nashville, including parents of the Covenant School in Nashville, where a shooter killed 3 9-year-olds and 3 adult staff members. Senators say the bill they voted to pass allows teachers to conceal carry guns if they want to.
I think there are enough safeguards in the bill to make sure that teachers and students and parents' rights were protected.
I've been a teacher for 17 years, and I can't imagine ever being put in that position. I don't think I could ever do that. I don't know that I'd feel safe to stay in a teaching role, to be honest with you.
Under the measure, teachers would have to complete a week-long course, be approved by county sheriff's departments, take a psychological test, have annual training, and get principal approval.
According to WKRN.com, teachers carrying guns could soon become a reality in Tennessee schools as a bill continues to make its way through the legislature. The Senate passed HB 1202 on Tuesday, April 9th, in a 26-5 vote not long after clearing the gallery following cries from people protesting the legislation. The bill would allow faculty or staff members of a school to carry a concealed handgun on a school grounds under certain conditions. Teachers who decide to carry would have to undergo 40 hours of annual gun training at their own expense, in addition to receiving approval from the school director, passing a mental health evaluation, and passing an FBI background check.
I think we need to be really clear about what this law does. You're right. Districts have the option to choose the vetting that's required, the training that's required, the approval from the district, the approval from local law enforcement. This is an option, and I think it's an important one that districts should have.
Now, look, it's worth noting Tennessee is far from alone on this issue. More than half the states in the country have laws permitting teachers to carry guns on school grounds. That's according to the Giffords Law Center to Prevent Gun Violence.
Those training requirements are the same as what the state requires for school resource officers, or SROs, with some lawmakers like Representative Ryan Williams, a Republican from Cookeville, the bill's sponsors saying that the legislation could be a solution for schools struggling to find SROs. If you're from a rural district where resources are limited, you don't have the ability to provide enough SROs for your community or an SRO at all. This would give you an opportunity to find a better and different pathway with training, fingerprints, mental evaluation, Williams told News 2. Williams also believes that having armed teachers could be a good deterrent for potential shooters or shooting attacks. Measures that make our schools more like military bases with signs that guns are inside do not create the nurturing and trusting environment that is conducive to learning, Spart said. We know that arming our teachers does not make our students safer. In fact, it increases the chances that a teacher's gun will fall into the wrong hands. This is irresponsible. The public school teachers don't even want the bill. They're not even asking for this, Senator London Lamard, a Democrat from Memphis, said. We just passed legislation to have SROs in every school. Can't we see how that works yet? The bill will now go to the House, where it has been placed on the regular calendar for April 17th. If it passes, it will become law once the governor either signs it or allows it to go into law without his signature.
Last week, Tennessee lawmakers passed a bill that will allow teachers to have a gun on school property. This is not mandatory. Police agencies, as well as the superintendent and the school principal, all need to approve it before a teacher brings a gun in. Residents wish it didn't have to come to this. Not all people think this is necessary. 2 former educators say this is too much for the teachers and this is not good for our state.
I think that's terrible, right? I'm having a hard enough time making lesson plans. Like, I can't go to gun safety courses on the weekends. You're not compensating teachers like they are the protectors and the parents and the educators, that they have to be all rolled up into one.
Lindley Dillon says she teaches her kids about gun safety. Now she has to worry about normalizing guns in schools for her children.
And I was like, you know, police officers have guns. Like, that's pretty much the only other person. And then it made me think, like, oh my gosh, I don't want to think about maybe one day I'd have to say, your teacher can have a gun. Like, that's just not a connection that should be made.
While the bill passed through legislature, the Board of Education has already had 2 proposals saying it is not needed in Knox County schools. However, some residents saying they just want their children safe.
If they, been approved by the government to carry a firearm, I am absolutely fine with them doing so, and hopefully we can protect our children and lose fewer lives.
If you are a parent of a black child in Tennessee, and this bill goes into effect, you need to remove your child from that district school immediately. I'm going to say it again. If you are the parent of a black child in the state of Tennessee and this bill goes through, especially if it's a black boy, you need to be removing your child from their district schools and seeking out a private school or a charter school or a home school pod. You may need to pick up a second job or a second shift at your job to pay for private schooling. Maybe look into these homeschooling networks, seek them out on Instagram, seek them out on the web. And you need to find a homeschool network that's culturally based, because you're going to have to be prepared for what's coming down the pike, because it's my belief that the first child to be shot will be a black child by a teacher or staff member who felt threatened or felt that the child was being aggressive. I know that this will never end well for us. I know that those in the dominant society, some of them that are mothers, are having a hard time grappling or wrapping their mind around the concept. But the fact that they're putting it into place, it does not bode well for the black community. Once again, we should create, build, fund, and maintain our own institutions so that we may rise as a community. Once again, this is Dr. Abdullah, a proud and honored contributor with the African Diaspora News Channel. What do you think about Tennessee's new law that may be put on the books come April 17th? I think it doesn't bode well for us, but what are your thoughts? Peace.